Hello and welcome everyone.
In this tutorial, we will learn how to make amazing presentations using the 3D adding and viewing features of PowerPoint.
This will allow us to create presentations that go beyond the usual 2D maps and graphics. Let's get started. As you can see, right now I have everything in the map. Even I have the line from a certain building to another building, representing how we can go forward from this building to another. Starting by the project file, I'll insert the 2D map here in the first slide, removing everything except this 2D slide, 2D map, this one. Then I'm going to duplicate this layer multiple times from this slide.
Actually, I am organizing things here based on a layer concept, which is commonly used in programs like Photoshop and CAD software.
First, I will begin by isolating or selecting each individual environmental component, such as the water, green areas, grey areas, and road network, among others. This will allow me to export each component separately and subsequently convert them into a 3D view. I'll start by using the sample selection tool here to select the water presence in the environment. It doesn't matter at all to have accurate selection. What counts really is to select the areas which contain the water, like I'm doing right now, and here we are. We have the water selection inside the map.
I can control the selection, including outline thickness and filling color, etc. Moving forward to slide 2 to select the road network.
Here I might do line over, not use the selection tool. It is simple to cover a road with a line and control the thickness by making sure that the entire road is covered. As I said before, I have all the tools to control the thickness, even pick the road color and do whatever I need.
But for the time being, I'm not going to pick the color to differentiate between the road and the color in the background as well.
So first, I'm increasing the thickness to cover the entire line.
I might copy this line to cover another road this way also.
I'm going to speed up the video here because I'm not going to do anything new. I'll just manipulate or turn the lines to cover the remaining road's line. It's important to make sure that I am covering the entire road network without any gaps.
This can easily be done by controlling the lines.
Make sure that this line is straight and adopt a thickness wherever you feel that this line is not covering the entire road or even smaller than the road. The awesome thing here is you can add a point wherever you want to edit the curve as I do here, so that you can cover all the network or all the road network.
As you can see, I added the point and control the curvature of the road as well.
Also, and as I said before, the accuracy here doesn't matter 100%, at least you can cover the road as much as you can. But first I need to pick the color of the background road. Okay, I'll try to pick the color from the map itself by using the color picker tool from the PowerPoint.
That's not the true color actually. So I'm going to pick it once again.
Yes, yes.
I think this is not the correct one. Actually, it's lighter. So I'm going to pick it once again. Yes.
This one, it's darker.
Actually, it's not the correct one. I think this is the correct one.
Yes, yes, exactly.
And I'm doing the same for the entire lines.
You can just press F4 to repeat the recent process you did already.
Like give the line colors, just pressing F4 can repeat the exact process. Moving forward to selecting the green areas actually representing the garden, trees, grasses, and so
On
on.
the map here, I can utilize the circle selection. Yes, this way you can just adopt the selection to just cover the circle. Here I have a lot of circles or green circles, so I may utilize the circle selection removing the outlines and use the actual green color which is existed already in the map.
I can pick it directly from the map from any green area, and I can copy and paste and resize this color. So resize this area selection, and I'm speeding up here, and just make sure that I'm covering all the selection.
I'm not doing anything special anymore. I just give a green selection to the green circle. Here I just increase the transparency of the map to make sure that there is a contrast between what I'm doing right now and the back area to help me to cover more precise selections. Yes, very simple and straightforward process.
There's nothing special here. Just give a selection for the entire green areas that existed already in the map.
It is worth mentioning that the more details you include in your 3D models, the greater their capacity will be. So ensure that you select every detail on the 2D map to create an accurate 3D map.
Moving forward to the fourth slide. Here I have a lot of grey areas which I'm not differentiating actually if it's a building or just the squares or just stages inside the environment.
So I'll partially make some selection as a building here. And once again, I am using the simple selection technique in PowerPoint, which is suitable for all the selections required in this map. After removing the outlines, the building's texture can be represented with a simple crossline or grey texture that I have already prepared.
As we can see in a few seconds.
Yes, this one. If you don't know how you can create such a great texture that can be used to make 3D buildings, I will create a short tutorial video that show you how it's done.
Okay, I'm repeating the process of selection here, so there's nothing special.
I'm going to speed up the video once again to cover all the building selection. Yes,
I'm going to select a few areas actually as a building, not the entire grey areas. And after that, repeat what I did already in the first selection in the building. I might select more 1 or 2 areas.
Yes, I think this is enough, so I can copy the format from the first selection to the remaining selection to have the same texture and the same appearance.
Sorry, I'm just deleted.
Yes, I need to copy the selection.
Yes, as I told before, you can repeat whatever you did before by pressing just F4, okay? As you can see right now, not all the texture are similar. There is a high capacity selection and low capacity selection here, for example.
This area might need to be lower traffic, or maybe we reduce the capacity of building here by decreasing the scale X and the scale Y, as you can see right now. And you can repeat this process whenever you want to scale down or reduce the number of building. Each black box of this texture representing a building actually.
So I can control the capacity of building easily by reducing or increasing the X and Y scale.
Here, I am adjusting the texture color to match the GPS map color scheme.
And after that, I might go to the background and increase the transparency to 100% to just represent. Or just have the building selection that I did already to get something like a screenshot from each and every environment component that I did before to insert it in the 3D program 3D Builder to start to convert the 2D to 3D.
Okay, so I'll select this and delete the background. I'll just create a folder for the entire project, including all the project files.
You don't have to create a directory or a folder for the project.
I'm just organizing the things, that's all. Here I am going to have a screen selection or a print screen from the water environment. What is counting here is to have something that fit the entire map as we did already.
Okay, it doesn't matter if you can't get the entire selection here. You can group it after that in the snipping tool like I'm doing right now and save it in form of N-file or even JPG. It doesn't matter.
I'll give it a name, maybe water, as I'm doing here.
Yes, exactly the same. I'll speed up the recording here as I'm not doing anything different. I'll just select the environment, and after that I fine-tune the selection by cropping, and after that we will have 4 images for the 4 environment components for the time being. As you may recognize, here I have 4 images for the 4 environment components that exist in the map right now. I may increase the environment component by selecting extra gray areas, or even adding a 3D building as we will do later on inshallah.
Here I am going to utilize the 3D Builder tool, which is a very easy 3D modeling tool used essentially for 3D printing. It has many 3D modeling capabilities that can support us without the hassle of creating models ourselves. Here I just insert the image and I'm going to use the height map feature. As you can see, it represents a water selection in the map, and the remaining white area represents the rest of the map, where I can host the remaining environment components. Don't worry about the height here or the scaling in the Z direction or X direction. It's a very simple way. You can just press and hold the mouse left click and then scale it down in the Z or Y or X directions. As you can see, you have a pretty water map. For the green areas, we can do something different than the height map, which is contour mapping. Reverse the selection and level it up or down. I will fine-tune these things to properly represent the green areas on the map. After that, I can scale it down as I did before, so it doesn't matter to have it from the first mapping, as I'm doing here. Then I can make it a smoother actually. As you can see, this 3D tool offers a variety of features that allow us to easily adjust the size of objects, as well as the smoothness of their shapes, the height map, contour, and other basic modeling needs. It offers a range of 3D abilities that are very helpful for our purpose. And as I did before, I'll insert the building this time to add it to our map. Unfortunately, during the recording, I couldn't press inverse, so I minimized the application to be able to switch to inverse. You can move the building whatever you want inside the map according to the location in the map. I mean, the actual building inside the 2D map. As you can see, right now I have some things that actually very close to the map. I can adjust its position within the 3D map based on its original position. Also, I can scale it down actually to have a very smooth and representative building selection. The remaining thing actually is the road network. Here the same way I'm going to invert it, and after that I'm going to scale it down the same way. Yes, I may move it down in said direction to be closer to the environment. Selecting and moving it down using the moving icon here down left. As you can see here, I'll keep a distance between the road and the rest environment to present something like a bridge network, not a typical road. Also, you can do whatever you need. It is possible to project a map onto the ground to visualize the route. Then I can export this 3D map in the GLB format, which could be understood by PowerPoint application, and after that you have
A 3D model that could be easily inserted in the PowerPoint and could be presented and animated as well.
For the time being,
It may be enough for the purpose of turning the 2D map to 3D one. But if you need more capacity or more attractive 3D map, you can select more environment components exist in a 2D map and then insert it in the 3D Builder application and create your own 3D map, and after that, insert it in the PowerPoint.
here I am going to increase the capacity of the map by inserting some gray areas here.
So also, I can adopt the 3D building by move it down to be laying exactly on the ground to represent the exact presence. Actually, there is some cross areas between the building and the road.
We can adopt them all after
Now
that.
I'm going to teach you how you can adopt this 3D model after that in the 3D Builder. It's so easy, by the way. We can give some 3D or some 2D selection here to represent the gray areas which might be squares inside the map or stages or something which is not defined yet.
But it would be awesome to increase the capacity of the map by this gray area selection. Very similar as previous.
I'm going to select this gray area using this freeform selection tool.
Actually, this is a freehand selection tool. I'm not going to use it.
I'll just use the freeform selection tool. There's nothing different here in the selection, so I'm going to speed up the video until I finish the entire gray area selection that I need.
The default color here is blue, as you can see.
So I can change it to whatever color I need. Change it to dark gray here after I finish the selection.
Keep in mind that there is some building should be existed in the map to represent the reality. Something like a tower, something like a mall, something like whatever building might exist in this map.
And keep in your mind that it should match the original to DGTP's map.
I'm changing the color here to the gray, the dark one, and after that I can copy the selection and move it to the 3D application once again as I did before.
I'm going to crop the picture or the image until it fits the 2D map and save it once again.
This time, I'm thinking of naming the file gray areas and saving it in the same folder as before.
After that, I'll import it into the 3D Builder application to create the same awesome 3D gray areas as before.
Using contour and invert it and scale it down in the Z direction to make it looks awesome.
Actually, it's become more appealing and more attractive.
Here, and as I said before, you can increase the capacity of map to be more appealing and more attractive.
Actually, even you can insert 3D building and whatever you need.
Here, you can override the source file or the previous file, and you can easily press save. Actually, it will override it. This time I'm override it myself.
I'm going to insert it once again. The PowerPoint gives me error, so simply I can change the format of the file to override this error.
FreeMF could be understood as well by the PowerPoint, so there's no worries about the previous error.
Okay, now I can insert it inside the PowerPoint easily without any problem.
As you can see right now, it's pretty awesome.
After creating this 3D model, you can imagine how your presentation could look like.
By utilizing different slide transitions like morph transition, you can enhance your slideshow.
Instead of presenting a 2D image, you can create a more engaging and dynamic presentation. Actually, it's a very easy and straightforward way, and very awesome as well.
In the next part, we are going to enhance our 3D map by inserting some ready 3D models like 3D building and cloud, for example. Here, we have a ready-made library of 3D models exist already in the 3D Builder application. We can insert any building we need or any 3D shape or model we need inside the map. As you can see right now, we need to insert this building in the map to increase its capacity and enhance how it looks. We can here insert a building. We need to scale it down to 20 millimeters to fit in the map dimension.
As you can see right now that the dimension in the map comes in range of like 100 millimeters.
Hereafter, we insert the building we need to rotate and adopt the direction of it, and locate it in the corrected places, as per the 2D map.
After that, you can use it in your presentation. Also, you can copy and move the building to another location in the map, or simply, you might add another building. So I'm going to insert another one from the existed library.
The current 3D library in the 3D Builder is similar to the ones in PowerPoint and Microsoft Paint 3D. It has a lot of models that can fit all needs.
Once again, we can resize the model and move it to the correct location for the purpose of demonstration. I think there's nothing hard here.
You just need to move the 3D model in the XY and set directions and rotate it until you achieve the desired result. Sometimes, you may need to manually adjust the rotation angle or distance between your current location and another location. To do this, you can insert a number that is either higher or lower than the current value, depending on your desired outcome.
I think here we might need to rotate in like 50 degrees in the Y direction.
As you know, this application is not 3D modeling application by nature. It's a 3D printing application.
So it has a limited 3D modeling feature.
But the basic feature here can get the job done in terms of moving or inserting the 3D modeling and get a complete map, as you can see right now. For those who only need to insert 3D models into applications such as PowerPoint or Microsoft Word, this is sufficient. Here I am going to insert another building, a generic building, maybe without any details.
I'm going to scale it down once again.
I need to ensure that the scale is locked to maintain the aspect ratio of the model and achieve a consistent effect in all three directions without the need to edit them separately. Here I am going to move it once again to the correct location. I might move it to this location. I might need to rotate it a bit. As you can see, after add more buildings to the map, it becomes more appealing and more attractive.
And it depends. It completely depends on you whether you want to add more buildings, add more details, or even include more green areas to the map. Doing so will make it more visually appealing and attractive for the audience during the presentation. So here, I'm going to give the 3D model a color.
I prefer to give the building a color that is different from the existing colors on the map to make it stand out.
So I'm going to try multiple colors. First the green and the blue maybe.
I am not sure for the time being which color is suitable for this building, but I think maybe if I get it another color like the orange or red or purple, for example, it would be more appealing.
For the sake of demonstrating the painting feature and giving a color for this building, I'll give it the red color for the time being.
You can change it as you might need in the future. It doesn't matter to have the final color right now.
Also, I'm going to add another building to the map.
I may add something like a bank here. Yeah, in this location.
So I'm going to insert another building that looks like a bank.
Maybe this one.
Yes, the Copperlot building.
Once again, I need to scale it down to fits.
As the current dimension of map, I'll scale it down to 20, and after that, I'll go to the central view. Then I'll move it to the current or the correct location and rotate it as well,
to be more oriented to the roads and green areas and water area as well.
It is a simple process that depends on how you demonstrate the building or how you satisfy the possession of the current building. There is nothing mandatory here, as the 2D map itself is very generic one. There are various websites available where you can download free 2D maps or GPS maps.
I'm not sure for time
I
being.
think I got this 2D image from the website FreePic. But actually, you can take even a screenshot from 2D map from the GPS view, for example.
I'll scale it down and locate it properly in the location.
I believe this presentation or 3D model would be very appealing and attractive to whoever sees it.
I think it's more awesome than the regular 2D map. As you can see right now, I may add different buildings and different formats. Perhaps I should add a tall tower since all the buildings I've inserted so far are low in height.
Yeah, once again, I'm going to the 3D library and insert something looks like a tower.
We need to ensure that this building adheres to the existing formats and guidelines on the map. This will maintain consistency and harmony in terms of appearance and structure.
It might take time, so you can cancel it easy and re-import it again. Once again, it's the same building. It seems like this building or the 3D model have a lot of details, so it takes time to be inserted to the map. But here we go, and similar, we need to lock the scales, and after that we need to scale it in the X direction to 20, and after that we can orient it properly in the map to wherever we need.
Yeah, it seems like it has some error. Need to be fixed first, but it's okay. We can do it later on, no problem.
I think the best way to move it smoothly is to drag the arrows in the X and Y direction, or even rotate the building to a different location using the arrow.
It would be more proper. After ensuring the building's proper location, I need to fix the error on the right-hand side of the screen. I think the preparing process won't take any time.
It is a simple process that ensures the building is free of any 3D modeling issues.
as 3D meshes and whatever relates to the 3D model itself.
I saved the file and now I am going to insert it again in the PowerPoint presentation. I will check how it looks and try to identify any issues that might be causing problems.
Sometimes after inserting a 3D model in PowerPoint, you may realize that it needs to be recolored or edited. The 3D map doesn't have the proper capacity or need to have some more details.
So right now, I think there is an error.
I think that the final building has not been included yet.
The application's still saving the last edit. So I'm going to reinsert the Builder 3D model once again from device. Actually, it looks fine right now. Yeah, for the time being, I think the black building in the left-hand side of the map doesn't look good. So I need to recolor them to have something that works fine with the map. I think the gray color looks better.
I am going back to the 3D Builder application to change the color of the black building. I think a gray color would be more suitable for the overall patterns and the map's balance. Yes, here I'm going to select the black buildings and recolor them again. The more effort you put into 3D modeling and building, the more efficient and impressive your 3D maps and models can be. You can export the 3D models and use them in various applications, including PowerPoint presentations. Easy and simple process to recolor whatever 3D model exists in the map. Editing the color may take some time, but the result will be satisfying and more appealing than the original map.
I'm going to save it and reinsert it once again in the PowerPoint presentation and see the differences.
Great! All the changes have already taken place.
Yes, they have been implemented.
So by applying more modifications of color and adding some details like clouds and some traffics to this map, it will look more appealing and more attractive for the audience. It doesn't matter if you don't have the expertise in 3D modeling.
With this tool, the possibilities are endless.
You can easily create 3D maps and models, including buildings, without any prior knowledge.
To create a 3D map that is visually appealing to people, you can add details such as clouds and buildings, choose colors, and adjust the colors to match the original map. By doing so, you can create a presentable 3D map that people will find interesting.
To get better result during the presentation here, I add some clouds to the map.
One advantage of this application is its ability to provide lighting effects.
So after adding the cloud, its shadow can be seen on the ground even when the 3D model is moved. Here I'm speeding up adding the 3D cloud as I'm not doing anything new. Just add a 3D model and rotate it to make it more real. Yes, and after I finished, I am going to insert this updated 3D model in the PowerPoint presentation and see the difference. I think it will be more awesome and more attractive.
Now you got the idea. By adding more 3D models and details, a better 3D model can be obtained.
So now we have the 3D map already as we designed it and modeled it early in this video. For the next part, we'll be working on the presentation itself using the 3D model.
Okay, first we need to add something like a label for the building.
Here, as you can see, just the label to have the building name, for example. Also, I might point this label to the building and insert a text. Actually, I used the AI to generate 5 building names.
With a 2-line description for each ad, I'll start to format the background first to remove the line and increase the color transparency a bit.
To give it a more proper appearance.
Okay, as you can see here in the AI, ChatGPT I asked for 5 building names along with 2-line description per each, so I'll copy the first one here.
Summit Tower Plaza. For a more polished look on both the map and slideshow, I will format the text and label size. Here I am going to copy the description and put it as well in the same slide.
For sure I'll format the text and its color and make sure it appears in the middle of the page.
So actually, I am going to utilize the loop path effect to the text label, and I'm going to fine-tune it a bit. The loop animation is fine for me, as it will give the shapes the floating effect as you might see here. Also, I'm going to move it left and right and up and down until the animated one matches the original one. Okay, I'll adopt the timing as well to make sure that it's matching the floating criteria or the floating imaginations that I have.
And as you can see right now, it appears like a smooth floating on the upper hand side of the building. Appears very awesome and looks good actually.
Also, I may increase the shadow of the text and the 3D effect of the text itself too. It will be easy after that to copy the animation from one building to another building using the feature of animation pointer. As you might know, I need trigger before the floating animation to make the text appear first, then float.
So I'll utilize the zoom animation first.
After that, I'm going to utilize the loop pass effect for both of them, the text and the label text on the building itself here.
If I make a preview, I think it's great, and you can do whatever you need in terms of the animation and trigger and how the text will look and how the names will look as well. So it's a matter of just adopting the text and adopting the description.
But you imagine here, if you insert the just 2D map instead of this 3D map, how it will be as a result.
I think the 3D map itself is look pretty good, and it's more appealing and more attractive for whoever, presenter and audience as well.
You even can copy the floating effect to the 3D map as well.
How both the 3D effect and floating on both the label text and a 3D map will give great effect after all. Yes, as you can see here.
Actually, I'm going to rotate the map multiple times, and after each time, I'll give each building a label text, and after that, I gave it a description that it might appear after each text. Here, I am going to speed up the video a bit for the sake of keeping the video time minimum.
I'm doing the same here. Actually here, you need to take care about the trigger, when the text will appear and when the description will appear as well.
So it's a matter of just configure the same animation for each text and copy the text in the label, and same for the description. Make sure that things are working fine here. As you can see, I am rotating the text, moving it to the correct building, changing the color, and perfectly copying the animation.
Yes, actually it's working properly with no more effort in doing the same from scratch.
Copy and paste the animation and copy and paste the effects, and just make sure of the triggers and everything will work fine.
Early in this video, we demonstrated how we can insert 3D models in PowerPoint and how we can animate it.
In this part, inshallah, we will be drawing a line between two buildings and explaining the route or direction that traffic might use to go from one building to the other.
This will help in understanding which route is most suitable for traveling between the two buildings.
Here I am going to draw a line and animate this line as well between two buildings, this one and this one, through this route. I will use the draw tool instead of the line tool available in PowerPoint.
The draw tool comes with a unique animation feature called interplay, which allows the line to appear progressively.
This feature is suitable for our use case where we need to demonstrate how to move from one building to another. So here I'm going to use the ruler to have a precise line drawing between the two buildings. As you can see, I can rotate the ruler simply by the mouse wheel. This is the most accurate way to rotate the ruler.
Also, we can change the color of the line.
It doesn't matter at all. You can change the color after that. Or maybe you can add some 3D effects or shadows to this line.
The most important thing right now is to draw a precise line between this building and the other building, typically by following the route between the two buildings.
As we can see right now. Okay, this is the remaining line between the last points that I already spotted and the last building.
Okay, I can adjust the angle by the wheel once again. Actually, you can increase the thickness as well or decrease it if you wish. And as I said before, you can change the color after finishing the drawing.
Yes, I think 4 is perfect for the purpose of have a typical line that indicating the route between those two buildings.
Actually, if you preview the ink replay right now, you'll figure out what I already said before. It's a special animation for this drawing tool in the PowerPoint.
You cannot utilize it by the normal line drawing. Currently, I will group all the lines together to have the same effect and trigger that will affect all the line components at once. And I'm going to adopt the line animation by have something like a trigger for appearance first by have this appear animation and after that apply the replay animation to this long line.
It seems like the preview is working fine, but the animation is too fast. I'll slow down the speed of the line by adjusting the timing of the effect. Also, I'm going to add some 3D effect or shadows to the line. Feel free to add whatever effects to this line as you wish. By previewing the last two slides to make sure that we have the proper line drawing between those two buildings.
I think the loading time is very fast.
So I'm going to slow down the speed of the line by increase the duration a bit. You have the flexibility to adjust the timing as needed to support your presentation goals.
Thank you for watching.